Hi, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. As Patrick mentioned, Ben Shounak and I are the co-leads of the ESR, Early Stage Researchers Working Group. And I want to express our thanks to Craig, Patrick, and others for dedicating this community call to early stage researchers, which, as we'll see in just a few slides, is a vibrant and substantial portion of the OHDSI community. Next slide. Yep. The purpose of the Early Stage Researchers Working Group, for those who are unfamiliar, is to foster a welcoming community for those members who are relatively early in their careers, or even to those who may be newly engaged to the OHDSI community. We're very inclusive, and we consider ourselves here as a resource for everyone. You've got to start somewhere. So as part of our mission, we seek to support our members' growth as researchers by providing resources, answering questions, and facilitating opportunities for them to present their work. We also seek to help them find mentorship through networking and advance in their career paths. Next slide. So how do we accomplish this? Well, in a number of different ways. So for example, during our monthly meetings, we like to foster engagement and showcase the work of our membership by regularly making space for what we call ESR Spotlight Talks, wherein early stage researchers get a chance to present their work. Sometimes it's in progress, sometimes it's a completed study. And this is really an opportunity for them to receive feedback and just generally get that practice that's so important at this stage in their careers. And here's just a sample of the students and postdoctoral scientists who have presented their work: Opera, Vipina, Kelly, and Jen. You may, a few familiar faces there if you were at the symposium. We also hold Meet the Mentor Roundtable sessions, wherein more experienced researchers talk about their career paths and OHDSI-related topics. Most of that time is actually spent as a Q&A session for our members to ask for advice. And as I'm sure many of you likely recognize these familiar faces of Fan, Paul, and Anna. So quick plug, whether you are an ESR yourself or a more experienced member, if you'd like to participate in some capacity to either present your work or tell your story and share some wisdom along the way, we are always looking for participants, so feel free to reach out to us. Currently, our monthly meetings are scheduled for the first Thursday of the month at 2 p.m. Eastern, though that is potentially subject to change to better accommodate the time zones that span our global membership. During our monthly meetings, we also share information about new opportunities, dedicate time to discussion of any topics of interest to the group, for example, career advancement and the very real concern about funding. We're also very OHDSI specific at times in discussing network study challenges, for example. So, and that as the last piece is sort of event planning. It's talking about the OHDSI Global Symposium, which we'll dedicate some time to today. So I'm very excited to see how that goes. So next slide. So as part of our work, we do want to encourage and support participation in OHDSI symposia and other fora, and in particular through abstract submissions. So I'm happy to report that even though as part of our OKRs, or objectives and key results for this year, we were very conservative in aiming to support at least 5 ESR submissions, what we found when we queried abstract submitters, we found that 49 early stage researchers contributed a total of 54 first author submissions. So that's not even counting all the other submissions on which they were co-authors. And so that's a tremendous, blew our target out of the water. So we're really excited about that. What that also tells us is that ESRs are a very important component of the OHDSI community in terms of what they're contributing to our various fora. So very excited to see that. What we can tell is that this also spanned 22 different institutions and a range of areas of expertise and industries, which is also very nice to see. We also held a number of networking activities during the OHDSI Symposium, and we had an incredible panel discussion entitled From Novice to Leader. So many thanks to Mark, Priya, and Karthik, who contributed to a phenomenal session. And with that, I will hand it off to Ben, one of our other co-leads.
As Harry pointed out on this slide, we had a lot of people who submitted their work to the Collaborator Showcase of this year's symposium, who designated themselves as early stage researchers. Hopefully you guys noticed, at least many people clearly did notice, the cool new checkbox we got, thanks to Craig Saxon, added to the submission portal for the Collaborator Showcase. So that's how we self-identify as early stage researchers. We're still working on the technical definition of where we draw that line. But if you go to the next slide, we also, out of all of this work, I'm still seeing the 49 ESRs. Thank you. Yes. So we handed out the inaugural Hebe Award, which we may be pronouncing that wrong. It's either Hebe or Hebe. This is a new Greek goddess, very, very not well known, but according to the LLMs, she is the goddess of youth and has no distinguishing physical attributes, but always has a cup and there's an eagle involved. I don't know. So we had this new logo and named the award after the Greek goddess of youth to hand out to the most exemplary community contributions from ESR specific. So this was an independent process from the awards that were given out over the entire community, of which there were also many ESR contributions. But this was only considering ESRs. And thank you to our judges who received a frantic request from me to go please review the work, and they had a short window. So thanks to our judges, you know who you are, who submitted their scores for all of the ESR community collaborator showcase work submitted that we compiled and gave out. We gave out 3 trophies, which were to our top 3 winners that are listed here, and that was the ARC framework. It's an ontology-driven framework for standardizing radiology procedure terminology using LLMs and RAG, and that was from Sumin Lee and Kayu Lee Jian. And again, we're going to hear from these 3 collaborators specifically, so we'll get to hear more about their work that we found to be the top 3 for ESRs. And then the second team is coming from the Georgia Tech Ramblin' Rec. That is Markian Romiak and Jacob Zelko. And that is on exploring efficient, scalable OMOP CDM workflows by leveraging DBT Cynthia. And so they also had Katie Sadowski involved with that Cynthia piece, the DBT piece. And then the other winner was the Fine Art of Tolerance, Robustifying P-Value calibration in observational studies with partially valid negative control outcomes. And that work came from Bingyu Zhang at University of Pennsylvania. And I think I didn't mention Sumin Lee and Kayu Lee Jian. They're from Yonsei University in South Korea. So those are our top 3 winners. And on the next slide, you will see our honorable mentions who received not quite as cool as a trophy, but a very cool, thicker than usual piece of paper that had a certificate signed by our ESR co-leads, myself, Harry, and Shounak. So we also wanted to give these 5 community contributions their spotlight, because there was a lot of really great work at this year's symposium, and especially as you saw from the last slide Harry showed, a lot of this coming from ESRs. So we are strong and we are many, and now we're trying to highlight those of us that are doing the best work. So thanks to all who were involved and all who accepted these awards, and it was exciting to give out this new award and be looking for that checkbox next year. If you missed it this year, just make sure to check that box, and we will consider you for this esteemed award that we started this year. So thanks, and I'll hand it off to Shounak to talk about our ongoing and future work.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. So I guess ongoing work never really stops, but we have decided to highlight 4 important directions that are of relevance. The first is to try and align the workgroup activities with the needs, priorities, and goals of the ESR membership. And 2 ways that we're thinking of doing this is, one, by developing and conducting an annual survey to identify and examine what the workgroup needs, what the membership needs, what are the priorities and goals, and then try to create a strategy and roadmap that outlines how these workgroup activities are going to address identified needs and priorities. The second direction is to try and facilitate involvement, visibility, and networking opportunities for ESRs. So that is to try and develop this mentor and membership directory for mentor and mentee matchmaking, which is one of the highlights of our ESR community that we, when we started out, that's what we strive towards. That was one of the fundamental goals when we started out this ESR work group, and also to try and create like an onboarding roadmap that like people can follow as a guide for trainees in different disciplines and career paths, like informatics, epidemiology, medicine, statistics, etc. Next slide, please. And then the rest to involve expanding the group leadership structure and better support global participation. So that includes recruiting dedicated members to organize monthly series or like maintain this like mentor-mentee directory and outreach, trying to identify representatives, that align better with other regional chapters, and to expand the ESR workgroup membership to include active members from at least 3 regional chapters. We realize that this is slightly more US heavy right now, so we would really like to branch out and include everybody. Like OHDSI is a very inclusive community, so that is our goal as well. And finally, try to grow the OHDSI network and ESR workgroup membership. So that involves developing ESR workgroup promotional materials, promotional content, try and advertise OHDSI and ESR workgroup to institutions and organizations that have not previously participated in OHDSI. So we could really use Craig's fabulous social media skills here, as well as Harry's, who writes the really nice LinkedIn post that I've seen. Distribute OHDSI and ESR promotional materials at non-OHDSI scientific fora. So like in particular, those that cater to ESRs, we would really like to get the word out that OHDSI and ESR membership is alive and thriving. Next slide, please. And as Harry mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, we meet first Thursday of each month from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. So the next meeting is December 4th on Microsoft Teams. So we are thinking of, modifying future meeting times, trying to change them to better accommodate time zones that are more diverse and span ESR global membership. And with that, we would like to end this small highlight.